Welcome back to the Goal2Go podcast, man. Week 3 of the NFL season coming around, episode number 4. Here with Tyler, Alex.
Sir.
You already know this episode we're going to cover week 2, how we did on our predictions, hot or not. This is segment number 2 for that. And then we'll go ahead, week 3, break down our picks. Starting off week 2. I'm now 1 game up on the picks. 19-13 overall versus your 18-14. Went 10-6 this week. You went 8-8. Couple picks in there we both got wrong. A couple in there mixed up. Let's start with, just recapping 2 of the games from week 2. Let's start with the Dolphins, man. Tua's best game of his career.
Definitely.
Big time comeback against LJ and the Ravens. I mean, starting off with this game, when I was watching it, Tua threw that pick just before the half, and then Lamar marched right down the field. I kind of wanted to turn my TV off there. I was like, all right, we still got a little chance. Third quarter rolls around. Ravens score another touchdown. I'm like, I don't even want to turn this back. Had Tyreek on the fantasy. I was like, I can't give up on the Dolphins just yet. And Tua started proving he started throwing some dimes. People are going to say he underthrew Tyreek on that first long touchdown. But, I mean, every time I watched Patrick Mahomes last year throw to Tyreek Hill, it's going to be a time where Tyreek Hill pauses, bro. He's just that fast.
Yeah, and I mean, even if it was slightly underthrown, it was still 6. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
It really doesn't matter.
Still 6. Took the top off. Blur. Him and Jalen Waddle. I think Waddle had 19 targets. They're the only 2 receivers with 200-plus yards unless A.J. Brown.
Tua threw he threw the ball 50 times or some shit like that, right?
Yeah. He threw the ball. It was up there. It was at least 40.
I think it was 53 attempts.
But he went crazy. Gesicki had that crazy catch in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, did you like his gritty?
Yeah, bro, I was watching that live, and I'm like, bro, he just has to be trolling.
Street saying that's the worst gritty of all time.
Bro, they might be right, bro. But I'll tell you what, if they let him do that, bro, I could go out there and hit a gritty 1 or 2 times. Not saying it'd be good. Yeah, 2 or 3 for 469. The 124 passer rating. But overall, the Dolphins' defense held their own. They had a goal line stop early in the game. Harbaugh went for it on 4th down. Lamar fumbled. Turnover on downs. But I think the key turning point, it was 4th and 1. The Ravens had the ball near maybe the 40.
Yeah.
Harbaugh decided to go for it. It was the 4th quarter.
Lamar did a little QB power, right?
Yeah, it was I think so.
To the left.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he kept the ball, QB power.
Didn't get it.
And he got stuffed. And I'm like, it's Tucker range.
Yeah.
Tucker could hit that field goal. I'm not saying it's 100% in, but Tucker could definitely hit that. Could have made it a 3-score game. Instead, the Ravens decided to go for it, and it didn't pay off. In that moment, I knew, I was like, this is Tua's chance. Finally proved, not only to me, but the whole NFL. I mean, I was sitting there at halftime. I was like, get LJ home to Miami. But, I mean, Tua got the job done. One of the best games I've watched as a Dolphins fan in a long time, and I was happy they could pull that off.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good game. Tua, he showed up when it mattered. He started off kind of shaky, and I think overall, you would say Lamar had the better overall quarterback performance that entire game. But, I mean, you can't take that away from Tua. He made the big plays when it mattered, and I think you're just really starting to see around the league the take that I had earlier in, I think it was the first episode or whatever, that it's turning into a receiver league. You need to have those big-time weapons on the outside, and Tua has 2 of them, and, you see the result. What other player besides Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle can you just put out there and be like, all right, we need 2, 40-plus yard touchdowns, go get them in, under 50 seconds. You don't... there's no one else that can do that. So, and then over in Philly, with my Eagles, A.J. Brown, you see how much Jalen Hurts is progressing as a passer, just having that trusty, confident receiver. And then we also saw Keenan Allen went down with the Chargers. Mike Williams stepped up. He got hyper targeted. He had a really big game. So I think it's just super, super important to get these young, talented quarterbacks to, even if they are on the verge, like, bro, receivers make a really big difference. And I think you saw that with the Dolphins. And also, I think McDaniels had a really good game plan going into that. He played to Tua's strengths. He didn't really, veer away from his game plan, even though they were down a lot. They got Tua some easy completions underneath to get him in rhythm. And then once it was time to take that shot, you saw what he did. He hit Tyreek twice, and then that last throw to Waddle with what it was like 20 seconds left or whatever. That was a big time throw and a big time moment. And I think the Dolphins, I'm not getting like too overhyped. I think it was a good win. I think the Dolphins will be competitive, maybe try to make the wild card. But I think now we see that Tua is able to win these kind of games, and we just want to see him progress. I think he will, and we'll get into that when we talk about our picks. But I think Tua's hot right now. The Dolphins' offense, their passing game especially, their running game was kind of iffy. I don't know why they're not using Chase Edmonds more, but the passing game for sure is one of the best in the league right now. It's going to be hard to stop.
No, I like what you said, that Tua could win games. That's what I like from him in week 2. Finished the game strong. Lamar definitely, the whole game, he was running all over, throwing some good balls. But Tua got it done in the end. Jalen Waddle did drop a pass on that last drive that I thought was going to come back to cost them. Mm-hmm. It was like maybe second or third down, something like that. He dropped the ball over the middle of the field. He made up for it with that end zone grab. And then...
Oh, he dropped... Didn't he... Well, I don't... Was that one in the end zone to drop, would you say?
No.
The one right before?
No.
I mean, it would have been a crazy-ass catch if he made it,
though. But X, he also could have sealed the game. Something that...
Oh, yeah, I saw he dropped that pick six. Yeah.
I mean, it was a walking pick six. The Dolphins went back to that cover 0 that threw Lamar off last year. Mm-hmm. They were showing cushion. And I was kind of questioning it. He jumped on it. Yeah, it was like a Thursday night game.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, I just like what I saw from Tua and the Dolphins. You talked about the receivers. I just loved it. Had me fired up at work on a Monday, along with many other Dolphins fans. But that game just had me hyped.
It was a good game. It was definitely like a close game. It was those wins that you like, really close.
That's what I was saying, bro. I loved that game. Those are the games you remember. You don't remember the blowouts. But moving on from the Dolphins, we're going to talk about your Eagles. Primetime, Kirk Cousins did what I kind of thought he would, but even though I picked the Vikings in my picks.
Yeah. You almost switched. I'll give you that. You were like, it's primetime Kirk Cousins. Like, I don't know if I want to pick him.
Yeah, and I shouldn't have.
No, you shouldn't have.
I don't know. I feel like Kirk Cousins one of these days might pull it off, but clearly just not made for it. Jalen Hurts, that one touchdown run, either in the first quarter, second quarter, we went to the sideline, almost stepped out.
That was the second quarter, yeah.
Yeah, came back in, lowered his shoulder, second effort, got into the end zone. That's when I was like, all right, Jalen Hurts is playing not only with the chip on his shoulder, but with something to prove. Mm-hmm. And he played a great game. I mean, that Vikings defense looked lost. I know you're going to talk about your boy Big Play Slay. Eagles defense, we talked about them not showing up. And they showed up last night in a big-time way, big prime-time win. Not a divisional matchup, but two NFC opponents going against each other.
Yeah.
And now the Eagles look like the favorites out of the NFC East.
I think this was, like you said, arguably Tua's best game as a Dolphin. I think this game was probably Jalen Hurts' best complete game as an Eagle. And it's just, it's good to see a guy that, Jalen Hurts isn't dumb all offseason. We saw what the Eagles were doing, especially, during the draft. We acquired an extra first-round pick, just in case, like, all right, if Hurts isn't our guy, we have ammunition to move up. They're saying this is a pretty good quarterback class coming in next year. So, I mean, Jalen Hurts, he heard all the noise. He knows that this is the prove-it year. He saw we went out, we got the weapons. We strengthened up the defense, and it was literally this season he knew going in it was going to be on him. Like, this team can only go as far as he takes us. And so far through the first 2 weeks, week one, although it wasn't, a good game against the Lions, Jalen Hurts was the reason we won. Like, he carried that team. And then Week 2, the defense kind of came back along. We got right like I figured. And Jalen Hurts was that much better. Like, okay, we saw he could carry our team and like get us a win against a decent Lions team. The Lions aren't all that, but they're definitely better than what I thought they would be. But we saw how good Hurts could be when he has the support of that great defense and all the weapons clicking too. He got Devontae Smith involved early and often. My boy Philly Goddard, he had a few big plays. We got him involved on a lot of throws over the middle, which was honestly the biggest question about Jalen Hurts. Like, yeah, he could throw the ball outside. Yeah, he can run. Yeah, he can do a simple RPO. But I think last game he showed that he has the ability to step up in the pocket, make the reads, hit the open receiver over the middle. He made a lot of anticipation throws, which you really like to see. A.J. Brown breaking on the slant across the middle. And then we saw the deep ball. I mean, his arm strength, he doesn't have the strongest arm, but he got it done. You saw that bomb he hit to Quez Watkins, who, outside of those boys in Miami, might be one of the fastest receivers in the league. You saw it take the top off, so he's going to be our deep threat, to keep teams honest. And I just think it doesn't really get more, like, there's no better, like, that was, like, the most, like, complete team win, like, that you could really have. It was all levels played good, big play slay, locked up J-Jets all night. And I think the defense really played good, whether it was Avonte Maddox in the slot. He had a big play in the red zone. I think he got a pick. He was involved, making a lot of tackles around the line of scrimmage. The safeties played decent, although Chauncey Gardner-Johnson got kind of beat and Irv Smith dropped the ball. But, I mean, he was still there, like, in his vision. He kind of put his arm up and I think, like, blocked Irv Smith's vision, but it's a ball he should catch.
Chauncey's in the box safety,
yeah,
bro.
But, I mean, he played decent. The safeties played decent. The linebacker play was, I think, some of the best we've had in years. TJ Edwards and Kaiser White are a major upgrade over Alex Singleton. Oh, my God.
Alex Singleton, man. You're hating. That's
both,
a run stuff.
Both of our linebackers made plays in coverage, which is, I mean, in the modern-day NFL, you want to see, like, teams are passing now, so you want to see these linebackers get out in space, be able to make plays in coverage, and both of them were able to do that. And then the only negative takeaway I have from this game, besides all those fucking flags they were throwing on illegal, like, linemen downfield, that shit is so stupid, bro. But the defensive line, to me, was kind of shaky at times. We were getting pressure on Kirk, but he had a lot of clean pockets for most of the time. And then it really just came up to our secondaries making big plays on the ball. Bradbury had Adam Thielen. He didn't catch a ball until like the fourth quarter. Big play Slay was locking J-Jets up all night. And then his stats guarding J-Jets, 6 targets, 1 catch, 2 interceptions, and Kirk had a 0 passer rating targeting him. And he had 2 interceptions, but honestly, watching that game, he could have had like 3 or 4. Like, but he dropped 1 pick 6 that he could have easily scored with. A few he dived at, but he just played a really good game and proved that he is still one of the top corners. But that pass rush to me is what I think. If we can get that pass rush going, get the D-line clicking, then we'll be an even more complete and better team. But to me, like, in times where, like, we really, like, you want us, like, we need to stop. And like, it's 3rd and 8, it's 3rd and 10, it's passing downs, The defense really wasn't able, the D-line, we got some pressure, but not as much as I wanted to see. But at the end, they did come through. Fletcher Cox came through, had a big strip sack at the end of the game, and then Josh Sweat Bros, he sealed it with that final sack of the game, which kind of put the stamp on everything. So the defense got active, in the pass rush later towards the game. I think they did a decent job in stopping the run as well. Dalvin Cook didn't really do much on the ground, which is good to see. And I also want to see them play Jordan Davis more. He was on the field, but not as much as I'd like to see a 13th overall pick. But, I mean, I'm just nitpicking, It was a great game, a great win against what I thought would be the best offense coming into the league and what still can be. And Justin Jefferson, who was arguably one of the top receiver in the game. I think we just played a really good team game. And the second half was kind of like, we were up.
Yeah,
there was no
playing
need,
to milk the clock, win the game.
Yeah.
They really didn't need to show much at that point.
Yeah, I think the defense played good.
You need your boy Sweat to step up in a big-time way when it comes to that D-line. But I like the Eagles, the way they played, all in all. Good win, 2-0.
Yeah,
didn't
and
have
like I
that.
said, like we have the players on the D line. Like
Yeah.
we have established veterans. We got some young guys coming in. We got people that are known to make plays. So I think in due time, as they get more comfortable in the system, we got a lot of new guys down there on that D line. Son Reddick being our biggest, one of our biggest
Free agent.
accusations.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll get acclimated. He had a few good pressures. I think as the season goes, they'll build that chemistry and get the D line going.
All right, that's going to conclude our quick week 1 recap of our two teams. Moving on, hot or not segment. My first one, a team you were very high on. The Jaguars will finish first in the AFC South.
I'm going to say this is not a hot take, and I was pretty much right going into the season. Although I did pick the Colts, but I said the Jags could make some noise. It would be a lot closer. And right now, they're the best team in the division. I mean,
At 1-1.
the Colts just, Matt Ryan does not look like the Matt Ryan of old. He's having trouble down there. And the Jags are just, they're honestly just, they're playing with house money, bro. Like, they know they have nothing to lose. They're throwing, like, the kitchen sink at everybody. Trevor Lawrence, he has the talent. He's making the big throws. And then I think also a big story is James Robinson's playing really, really good, coming off that Achilles tear, which makes sense. You know, he's a power back running in between the tackles. He's not, like, out in space trying to cut and, like, make hard cuts. So I think that team is, they're gonna be competitive. I think they'll score some points. Their defense is still a little, and although I did see Devin Lloyd was the highest ranked rookie on PFF in the first 2 weeks.
Now
So-
you're buying them PFF grades.
I mean, listen, if you got a high grade, you're playing well, and Devin Lloyd's been making plays for the Jaguars. So I think it's not a hot take to say the Jaguars can finish in first place.
All right, well, the second one staying in the same division. The Colts and Titans finishing bottom 2 of the AFC South, and the Texans will finish second.
Oh, damn, that's a good one.
Because, bro,
I think
we saw the Titans. We saw what the Colts are doing right now. The Texans
Yeah.
kind of like the Jags. They got nothing to lose.
I think that's a hot take. I'm pretty confident that at least one of them will finish over the Texans. If I had to guess, it'd be the Titans. Who'd the Titans play week 1? Didn't they? I think they played a pretty
The
no, they played
Giants.
the Giants.
They lost on that Saquon 2-point conversion.
Yeah, so they were super competitive with the Giants down to the last last drive. They got, I mean, the Bills are going to do that to pretty much like half of the league, what just happened last night. So I think, Mike Vrabel, he'll get them going. Sooner or later, they're going to have to play their division opponents, and I think those are winnable games. So if I had to pick, I would say the Titans would have a better chance in finishing over the Texans, right? Yeah. The Colts, I don't know. Hope Michael Pittman needs to come back or something.
Yeah, I was going to
Or
say.
fucking Andrew Luck. Like, I don't know.
Bro, oh my gosh. What a time for Colts fans when Andrew Luck was actually playing.
That was crazy, man.
Brady has hit his wall and is on the decline.
I'm going to say not a hot take. I think Brady is kind of at that wall where he's peaked and we're kind of starting to see him fall on the decline. Now, the only thing I will give him is he has not had a fully healthy receiver room this year, and his O-line is pretty banged up. So I think those two going together, and the fact that he is getting older, and it seems like he has some personal stuff going on, I just don't think we're seeing Brady at 100% right now. So I think he is kind of on the decline. But I think they're still in games.
I was going to say, he's kind of like reminds me like Peyton Manning, like the year after he set that touchdown record with the Broncos.
Yeah.
And then went to the Super Bowl, and he was just that game manager.
Mm-hmm.
At the time when they won, he was just the game manager, something Brady can obviously do pretty well. He's been in the game so long, knows the game. He could do what Peyton Manning did that year, because the Bucs defense isn't bad, but I don't think, obviously, they're not as good as Denver was that year.
No.
But they could definitely put up a run in the NFC, still be plus 500, and win the South.
I think it's definitely possible for them to come out of the NFC as of now.
Yeah, no doubt. And my last take, one I personally feel towards, the Browns should fire defensive coordinator Joe Woods.
Um, I'll go with this is a hot take. I think it's early on in the year. You don't have your full team. Although defense is supposed to be like the main part of this team and like what has carried this team, I think it's still early. And I think, that last drive was just like, it kind of just seemed like, not even the last drive, like those last like few plays to led to the Jets scoring. It just kind of seemed like the Browns got complacent. They were like, the game's over, and then next thing you know, who was it? Like Corey Davis is running down the sideline,
Wide open.
yeah, like
yeah.
So, I mean, it looks bad, but I don't think it's time to overreact just yet in week 2. But I mean, if they keep playing like this, it could happen.
All right, I want to touch on it real quick. This is not a hot take. Joe Woods has been doing this for seasons now. It's getting to the point where it's ridiculous. Fourth quarter in that game-winning drive, it was a 10-yard completion from Joe Flacco. I was watching a clip. He drops back the D-end and blitzes, I believe it was Anthony Walker in the slot corner. So he brings a nickel blitz in, drops a D-end in the pass coverage in the middle of the field. Obviously, he's wide open, and Joe Flacco just stands there, throws the ball right to him. Another 11-yard pickup. Play calls like that, fourth quarter, there's 50 seconds left in the game. They're inside the 20, and you're dropping back a D-end in the coverage when you got Anthony Walker. He's not a scrub in coverage. Like, he's not the best cover linebacker.
Yeah, it's probably not the best time for an exotic blitz.
Yeah, and he does this every year. Every year, Browns fans are asking, do we fire Joe Woods? I think it's time. You got Myles Garrett. You just locked up Denzel Ward. Claim you got these great young corners, and you come out with Joe Woods-esque play calling down the stretch and let Joe Flacco look like he was on the Ravens. Like,
Super Bowl MVP Flacco.
I don't know what to say. Like, it was bad, and Joe Woods, I'm calling for your head. I'm not even mad at Stefanski or Chubb getting in that touchdown. Minute 55, up 14 points, and you can't get a stop. And then also the special teams coach should be fired for that onside kick. But
yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah. Moving on to your hot or not,
Right.
I had to get that Joe Woods off my chest.
I could tell that was like eating away at you. You're so ready to call for his job. All right, this first one is gonna you gonna fuck with this one. All right, hot or not, the Dolphins can win the AFC East.
Listen, the Bills look really good. I'm going to say it's not a hot take. I don't think they're going to win it, but it's definitely not out of reach. I mean, they just played the Ravens, who I picked to win the AFC North, and Lamar looking for an MVP season. If Tua can play like he did in the second half, which is a stretch because in the first half, I was looking at him and it was like Tua was not looking good at all. Threw 2 picks. That second pick before the half was one of the worst interceptions I've seen in my life. I'm going to say it's not a hot take. I still think the Bills come away with it, but if the Dolphins win it, it's going to be a little bit of a surprise for the football world just because the Bills are that good, one of the best teams we've ever seen. But, I mean, Josh Allen just looks like he's on another planet, even if Tua throws like 4 touchdowns a game, because he probably won't ever throw 6 again this year.
You ready to give the Bills that stamp? One of the best teams we've ever seen.
Offensively, obviously not yet. I'm ever seen, but like definitely they're a juggernaut this year, no doubt.
I think they are. Yeah. All right. Second one, hot or not, Joe Burrow was a 1-year wonder.
I'm gonna say that's a hot take. Maybe not a 1-year wonder, but he's not Joe Shiesty, the like top quarterback MVP everyone makes him out to be. He could be a top 10 QB, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I mean, you watch him, he's going through sophomore woes. Stuff like this happens, I mean, to quarterbacks all the time.
Yeah.
But
it is technically kind of like his sophomore year because he got injured his
yeah, he
year.
was out for like most of the year.
Yeah, he tore his ACL.
I mean, and then he came back, balled out, So, yeah, it kind of is like his second year. I think he would, play like 4 games in year 1?
I think he played more than that, but I think it was like right when he started to get it going. I think around like week 7 or 8 is when he let me look it up. Was when he tore his ACL.
I mean, I don't think the Bengals are as good of a team as everyone, like, Super Bowl, they were in it last year, but they called Joe Burrow like a 1-year wonder. I mean, I still think he'll have a great career and, make some runs, but I don't think he'll be like, I'm not putting him in the same pedestal as like Mahomes or Josh Allen or any of those guys.
Yeah, he's not there yet. All right. Second, my third one, I think this is kind of like the best one. Hot or not, the Packers will have a similar season to last year, meaning they went 13-4. So do you think they can get around that 13-win mark again?
I think they can get around 12 wins. You look at their division, nothing strong. You play the Bears twice. I mean, you play the Lions twice. You could definitely pull it off. The Vikings, they probably play them in primetime this year. So that's a win right there. And when they come to Lambeau, they'll probably win. The Vikings might be able to get one.
Which they got week 1.
But, I mean, they're going to be around 11 to 13 wins, in my belief. And Aaron Rodgers will probably lose in the first playoff game like he has most of his career. If he pulls one off with the worst receiving core he's had, I mean, credit to him. But every time in a playoff game, he doesn't show up, and the offense is non-existent. The defense is going to have to help him out in the playoffs if he wants to make it past that first round or second round, since they always get the bye. Either way, that defense is going to have to step up because Rodgers just hasn't played well in the playoffs, but I'm going to say it's not a hot take.
I just think it's really interesting because they're literally starting off like the same exact way. They started last season.
Every year, they always suck in the beginning.
They lost week 1 of last year. They lost to the Saints in a blowout. Week 1 this year, they lost in a blowout to the Vikings. Then week 2, they come home, play an easy divisional opponent. Last year was the Lions. This year was the Bears. Get that momentum. And then last year, I think week 3, they went into San Fran and beat the 49ers, which was a juggernaut in their conference. And then this week 3, they got the Bucks in Tampa. We just talked about they could be a juggernaut in the NFC. So if they win that game down in Tampa, they're basically like on track to have like the same exact season.
Maybe not a juggernaut, but they definitely are one of the better teams in the NFC. So yeah, I mean, Rodgers.
The Bucks aren't a juggernaut in the NFC.
No, I think you're misusing the word. That's all.
Juggernaut, as in they're like a top 3 team.
I mean, possibly.
Who else is better than them?
I still like the Rams over the Bucks.
I don't know. That game last week against the Falcons was.
The NFC is weak, in my opinion.
I know, so I think the Bucks have a better chance of
winning. Your
winning.
Eagles might be in it, but I won't give you that credit yet.
I think they're the best team right now.
So,
all right. So then name the teams you think are better right now, bro.
I think just with the way that Brady's playing, like they're gonna win the NFC South, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, what? So you're saying there's 6 juggernauts in the NFL?
I'm not saying no. That's different.
I'm just
in
saying,
the whole
like,
NFL,
they're one of the better teams in the NFC. I agree with that.
So they're not a juggernaut in the division.
No, I'm calling.
You can be a juggernaut in your division, but not be a juggernaut in the league.
2 juggernauts. There's 2 juggernauts in the NFL, and it's those 2 teams.
So the NFC has no juggernauts within their division.
No, they have no. Like what now?
Bro, we're just talking about the division. I'm not comparing them to the Chiefs.
Okay, so they're the juggernaut of the division.
Yes, they are one.
Yeah.
You don't think so?
They are. Of the division, but I'm talking about the whole NFL.
Okay, I didn't say the whole NFL.
Come on, bro.
I said in the division.
Now you just get into
I said in the NFC. Did I not?
That's the conference, bro.
Or the conference in the NFC, you know what I mean?
Bro, I'm just saying there's only 2 juggernauts in my opinion, the Bills and the Chiefs.
Okay, I agree. Overall, in the NFL, the Bills and the Chiefs are the 2 clear-cut better teams. But in the NFC, I think if you win the NFC, you're a juggernaut in the NFC. And the Bucks could win it.
They could.
So they're a juggernaut in the NFC.
And just move on to the next one.
All right.
If you got
I think I have
one
one more. I do. Hot or not, the Raiders are clearly the worst team in the AFC West. This really just comes down between them and one other team.
It's not a hot take, but if they don't finish fourth, I wouldn't be surprised. We talked about it. That whole division could switch, and I would not be surprised. Mm-hmm. But right now, the Chargers, had a pretty easy win against them. That last week in week 2 came down to the wire. Raiders and Cardinals. It's really just going to come down to the defense and your boy Max Crosby, because Kyler Murray, on that one play where he ran around.
He literally ducked under him. He was so
25 seconds.
You think right now they're better than the Broncos, though?
All right, well, when it comes to the Broncos, as you saw the clip of Tyler Lockett calling out Russ's hand signals.
No, I didn't.
Tyler Lockett was calling out his hand signals and telling him what the receivers were running. Apparently, Russ hasn't switched his hand signals when he went from Seattle to Denver. So I think Russ needs to change that. But
I think the bigger problem over there is their coaching. That clock management and, awareness of what's going on. Having the, I think it was right before half, or I think it was a go-ahead field goal or something. But they literally had their field goal team, about to kick the field goal. Russ, it was 4th down. Russ was the offense was on the field, they were about to go for it, for half of the fucking play clock. Yeah. Then at last second, they're okay, we're gonna try to kick a field goal, and everyone's just looking around, are we kicking a field goal? Are we going for it? And then they get a delay game, and then it puts them out of field goal range, and they have to punt the ball. Stuff like that is I know you're a first-time head coach, but it's inexcusable. And I did see that everybody, which is also an interesting stat, I did, piece of information I didn't know, everybody in their coaching position on that team is a first-time. So it's a first-time defensive coordinator, it's a first-time offensive coordinator, first-time head coach. So I think these are really, really bad growing pains, and being in this division, I don't know if you can afford to have them.
Yeah, coaching definitely is something that they need to work on, because Russ might be the best coach. I don't know. Playing the game.
Russ is their best coach right now. They're in trouble because Russ isn't even playing that good right now.
Yeah, he's not. But Russ is.
Judy just got injured too.
Back end. Yeah, Judy. He just needs to find a way to get that offense going. Javante's really not doing anything. It's just not flashy about anything on that team.
They need to run the ball more.
Yeah, they need to take some pressure off him.
They do. But this is Russ's offense. This is what he wanted. Come to Denver and have everything be on him.
No doubt. I just want to say that the whole division is just so close. Well, besides,
I think it is, but the Chiefs are starting to pull away right now.
Yeah, no doubt.
Although
the Chargers too,
are still right.
You got those top two, the Broncos and Raiders, kind of fighting that 3 and 4, but they could take the 1 and 2 spot if they just played better complete football. But it's not far fetched to say that the Raiders could finish 4th. Could be any of them, but the Raiders right now, they're finding ways to lose.
Yeah,
that close game against the Cardinals, it should have been a win on the road, and it should have been a key win, and they blew it. And I know Packers fans were so happy. Devontae Adams had 2 catches,
which is insane.
And
who I think the best receiver in the league is.
Sammy Watkins had 3 for 90 yards or whatever, and they were yeah, Sammy Watkins.
I think he only had 7 or so targets or something like that. You got to you paid him all this money.
In week 1, they
force-fed him. Force-fed him the ball.
Yeah. So I really just don't get it. Maybe the Raiders should run the ball a little more too. Not even sure. Get third and Renfro involved, but I know he's possibly has a concussion or whatever.
Yeah, and he fumbled twice the last time he touched the ball. Give the ball to Devontae Adams. He's the best receiver in the league. Yeah. To me, that's kind of crazy. How you paid all that money for him. He's got this big connection with Carr. He's open all the time. You just 2 receptions. Although one of them was for a touchdown.
It was.
But
Either way,
you got to get him going more than that.
No, the Raiders' offense should be one of the better ones and more premier in the league.
Yeah. MVP Carr back in 2015?
That was insane when he was actually doing that. And really had the hype around him. Definitely the better Carr brother, no doubt, but he has the team around him to win this year.
Burrow played 10 games his rookie year. That's kind of like out of left field. But yeah.
So I guess it's not even his sophomore year anymore.
No, it's not.
But
10 games is decent.
He played from week 1 in his second season.
He played all 16 last year.
There was 17 games. So I guess he missed one.
No, didn't they just do that this year?
No, it was last year, wasn't it? So not 17 games last year?
I don't know. Did he get injured last year?
Maybe he didn't play one game. It doesn't even matter at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's one game.
But, yeah, so not his sophomore slump. But either way, I just think he'll be fine and be a good QB in the league. So, moving on, week 3, we got our predictions lined up. I think we just have 3 different picks. I kind of picked one out of left field, kind of switching it up. Upsets are going to happen. But starting Thursday night, 2 nights, ecstatic to see how this choke of a team tries to bounce back. Steelers on the road in Cleveland. No Clowney. Myles Garrett questionable with the neck injury. Just the Steelers on the road. Trubisky. They beat the Pats somehow.
They lost.
Oh, yeah, lost to the Pats. Beat the Bengals, lost to the Pats. Really not adding up those first 2 games, but that's NFL football
TJ
for
Watt.
you. No T.J. Watt. I like the Browns. I'm taking the Browns. Even if fully healthy, T.J. Watt, and you threw any quarterback, I'd probably still pick the Browns. But for the Browns, Amari Cooper looked really good last week for Jacoby Brissett being his quarterback. Jacoby Brissett led a great drive in week 1 against the Panthers to come back. Against the Jets, they rushed one guy, and I was watching it. I thought I was watching Madden. They rushed one guy and dropped everyone else in a pass coverage, and he threw the ball within like 3 seconds. And as soon as he threw it, I'm like, this just has to be a pick. There's like 10 people guarding. There's no doubt it's a pick, and he threw it right to him. But, I mean, Brissett has looked good. I watched him extend a play, roll out to the left, like break a sack, eat a hit, and throw the ball downfield to your favorite target, Harrison Bryant. He was looking good. Nick Chubb, I mean, it's phenomenal. 3 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt looked great in week 1. The Browns defense, I think they have 3 of the 10 highest graded players on defense between JOK, Myles Garrett, and I think it was Anthony Walker. Those 3 are the 10 highest graded defensive players in week 2 or maybe the whole season. But somehow ranked 27th in defensive efficiency. And once again, it might be the defensive coordinator, Joe Woods. But they got to find a way. If Myles Garrett doesn't play, they got to find a way to put some pressure on Trubisky. And maybe that's when you call one of those blitzes where you drop the in. Yeah, he has a neck injury. I don't know how, but I don't like a neck injury on a short week.
His swole eyes.
Bro.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Clowney's out too, isn't he?
Yeah, Clowney's already out. I think it's an ankle injury. Clowney's always good to miss 3 to 4 games a year.
Yeah.
But when he's on the field, he's productive. And Grant Delpit, Denzel Ward kind of like called him out. If you're Denzel Ward, you got to be a little bit more of a veteran. He said not everybody was playing the same coverage on that Corey Davis wide open down the sideline. I guess Grant Delpit was supposed to be back there, and he wasn't, and Ward was in the flat, whatever. But that defensive miscues, that's the second week in a row a play like that's happened where someone just streaks wide open down the sideline. Can't happen. And the Browns are also the worst fourth-quarter defensive team. I think they've let up like 30 points in the fourth quarter through 2 games to the Jets and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. My kind of analysis of these 2 teams going into the year are pretty much exactly what I believed. I mean, Steelers and Browns, they're both in kind of the same predicament. I just think the Browns are at home, coming off of a game they should have easily won. I think like their win percentage was like at 99.9 or something, like right before they scored.
Something crazy.
Yeah. So that was a game they basically won. They should have won. Just, they got to tighten up on those miscues and stuff. And I think, although I thought, playing someone like Joe Flacco would be a good game for them to turn it around, it doesn't get much better than Mitchell Trubisky after that. So if there's ever a time for this defense to get their confidence back to step up, I think it'll be on Thursday night. And didn't you guys beat the Steelers last year on Thursday night, I think? Or who was that? No, I think that was the Vikings where – was it Dearness Johnson or somebody had a crazy game?
Yeah, that's when everyone is. I think it might have been the Steelers.
It might have been. Yeah. But it's in Cleveland. I know Dog Pound, they're going to be out there heavy. Any primetime game, they're always going to be crazy. So I think the Browns, they'll be all right. And with no TJ Watt playing, I think the Browns will be able to lean a lot more into their strength and running the ball. And that defensive line and linebacker core will be a little weak because I wouldn't want to be throwing it with Minka back there lurking, and Jacoby not being the most accurate quarterback. But it was also funny. I heard a quote. I don't know if it was during the game or I saw it on social media somewhere. Jacoby was talking about Amari Cooper. And he was like, we watched the film. He's like, oh, you were that open. I didn't realize you were that open. Like, I got to throw you the ball more. He's like, I went back and saw it on film. And I just thought that was really funny. Like, how are you the starting quarterback of the team and you don't understand how open your number one receiver is? Like, that should be something you have. That should be something you're well aware of, and you should be throwing to him.
He was throwing to him in week 2. He had
I know. After he saw the film, it was like, oh, you're open.
I think the Browns lost to the Steelers twice.
Oh, they lost?
Yeah, they lost on, I think it was a Monday night game to the Steelers late in the year. Wow. And then they lost in week 7, I think. Either way, last year was...
Yeah, but I'm rocking with the Browns. Bounce back game. A game they honestly just should have won. Mental lapses. Clean up on those mental lapses. You'll be all right.
That's what it's been for the games.
Deshaun next year, bro. Just stay down.
This year, I mean.
It'll be over by the time he plays this year.
And for all the Browns fans that actually went to the game, the guy that threw the water bottle at Jimmy Haslam, glad you got banned for life. He threw a water bottle at the owner, and they banned him for life. He acted like it was the owner's fault. Joe Woods can't call plays, but
he hired him, didn't he?
Well, probably not. I mean, the GM and Kevin Stefanski didn't tell Nick Chubb not to score either. I mean, which is kind of dumb. Nick should probably know better, but who doesn't want a third touchdown? Like, you see a wide open end zone, you're telling a running back just not to walk in. They were 155 when he scored that last touchdown. Go up 2 scores. Anyways, moving on. I'm surprised by your pick here. Buffalo on the road at the Hard Rock in Miami against the Dolphins. I'm rocking, once again, my team's back-to-back. I'm rocking with the Fins. It got to. Yeah. After Tua just dropped 6 touchdowns. I mean, I think it's going to be a close one. I'm just saying, the Dolphins can't play in Buffalo, so that's why I'm kind of picking them for this one because they only got a chance in Miami. So I just think you can't even shut down Josh Allen. You just got to limit him. Just limit the mistakes and the turnovers. You can't throw 2 picks against Josh Allen. And try to force, a couple of turnovers on the defensive side of the ball. I want to see X make a play. And that secondary between Holland and Brandon Jones, maybe get some blitz packages in with those guys.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Bills are the better team, and I think they will win this division. But, I mean, I don't think they'll go undefeated, although if they end up winning this game, that could be on the hot or not. But I just think this, has the perfect setup for, a trap game. The Bills have literally been coasting the first 2 weeks. Josh Allen came out in the 3rd or 4th quarter or some shit like that. Case Keenum was playing
40 points.
Yeah, they've been blowing everyone out. The Dolphins are literally as hot as ever. Tua's just played the best football of his life. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are the 2 most fast, explosive receivers in the league. I think down in Miami, It'll be hot. I just think this is like it's the perfect trap game. Like the Dolphins could find a way to win. One turnover, the Bills make one mistake, you hit Tyreek or Waddle on one big play, and the game could get really out of hand. And I also like the way this Miami offense matches up against the Bills defense. Now the Bills defense has been playing lights out. They've been shutting everyone out, creating turnovers, not allowing any points. But they haven't played a team with weapons like Miami. They haven't played a team with one weapon like Miami other than Cooper Kupp, but Cooper Kupp isn't the athlete, nowhere near the athlete Tyreek or Jalen Waddle are. So I think the way the Bills play, they love to play that too high safety, rush 4. That's really the only concern I have for this game is if that Bills pass rush can get home early and often, then it'll be a long game for Tua. But if they can hold up and give the Dolphins and Tua just a little bit of time for those deeper routes to develop, and those are two of arguably the best safety tandem in the league, and Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde back there, but they're used to playing too high, and okay, we got to worry about maybe one deep threat or, only one receiver that can attack us downfield. And like I said, in these last 2 games, they haven't really played a receiver that attacks the team downfield. This week, they're going to have to play against 2, and arguably 2 of the best. So, like I said, one big bomb to Tyreek or Jalen Waddle or, either one of them catch a slant and just use their game-breaking speed. And we saw Tyreek do this to the Bills defense last year in the playoffs, and he caught that slant and took it to the crib. Like, now you have 2 receivers that are capable of doing that against this defense. Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano are playing really good in the middle of that field for the Bills linebackers. But I can just see, especially being down in Miami, I think the Miami crowd will have an effect on this game. And, we're from South Florida, so we know how it is. Like, if the team is, doing horrible, no one cares. But if they're winning, kind of like the Heat when they got LeBron. Nobody was talking about the Heat. And then LeBron and Bosh come in, the Miami Heat are, the best thing ever down here in South Florida. So with the big win from Tua last week, I think a lot more people are excited for Dolphins football. And if they can find out a way to get this win next week, which I think is possible, then I think this Dolphins team will be the talk of the town.
What you said was perfect, bro, because literally I got people at work that are hopping on the Dolphins bandwagon. I was like, kind of like 2 weeks ago, they were like, I don't know. And now they're like, yo, Tua, I have my manager who, he don't follow football like that. He's a Dolphins fan, but yeah. Joe's like, he's like, which Tua jersey should I get? He literally copped the jersey right then and there. I'm like, yo, you're wild. But, I copped the Tyreek Hill literally the day before. When I watched him go for 200, I was like, yeah, it was him or Waddle. But it was a long time coming.
I just think with 2 receivers, we know Hill is an established. We already know what he is. And Jalen Waddle is literally just a clone of him. The same exact thing. I just think it's going to be hard to count either one of them out against anybody really. And I think this will be a good test. And also, I just don't think they'll be able to win in Buffalo. And there's everything going on. It's perfect. I can see it happening.
And for Dolphins fans, this is literally the best time since Jay Ajayi was rushing for 200 yards a game. And Ryan Tannehill had the best season of his career with Jarvis Landry. Moving on, Cincinnati in New York, MetLife against the Jets. I got the Bengals bouncing back. Talked about the Browns choking to the Jets last week. It was really a lopsided game. And one thing about that Browns game, there's a lot of flags that were thrown that were not flags against the Browns. I'm not going to put it on them because that last 2 minutes is absolutely ridiculously on the Browns. But the whole game, the refs were terrible. And I think that's the only reason the Jets even had the chance to come back. I think Joe Burrow is going to bounce back, maybe not 330 yards, but he's going to have a couple touchdowns. Joe Mixon's probably going to get it going. The Bengals desperately need a win to keep their season hopes alive, I think, at this point in the season.
Yeah, I'm going to rock with the Bengals here, too. This is kind of they're getting into red alert territory. If you don't beat the Jets here,
Something's wrong.
And it's hard because you got to think, okay, let's say they don't beat the Jets. The Bengals start off 0-3. what direction do you go in? Like, you already have your franchise quarterback, so you're not gonna say like, oh, we just need a quarterback. Like, you have a top 5, 10 receiver in the league in Jamar Chase, so it's not we don't have weapons, and they arguably have the deepest receiver core. Like, what it's kind of hard to see where the Bengals go after this. So I think this is a must-win game. And kind of like the Browns last week, I think this is a good team to get some confidence against, although they lost. I think the Bengals and Joe Burrow, I don't like that it's in New York. I'd be a lot more confident if it was in Cincy. But nonetheless, I just think the Bengals are a good team. And I saw your boy Sauce, I think he got banged up too, so I don't know how healthy he'll be coming into next week. So that'll be tough. Although that would have been a great matchup, him versus Jamar or T. Higgins. I think that would have been really interesting. But I just think the Bengals have more talent. They're the talented team. Their O-line needs to block. I don't know, like they going into the season, like there's a revamped O-line. Everyone,
Looks
who
like
was
the
it?
same O-line.
I think Lyle Collins, the guard they signed from the Cowboys, was like, I'm your bodyguard. You're not gonna get touched anymore. And like now he's on pace to have like 100 sacks this year. So, although I think Burrow needs to do a better job of getting the ball out because I think he's down the field. Yeah. But, I mean, you can't put it all on him, just like you can't put it all on the O-line. I just think they need to play better as a unit. And I think against this Jets team would be a good game to kind of get stuff sorted out. And I think Flacco's starting as well because I saw reports saying they don't want to play Wilson until he's like 110%. So,
And one thing you talked about, Sauce, he should have gave up a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, it's a DPJ, right?
There was a flag that was not called. This man was literally grabbing his nameplate before the ball even got to him.
Didn't he catch it?
No.
Peoples-Jones caught it, though, I thought, right?
No. It was like in the end zone. He was like grabbing his nameplate.
Oh, and he like dropped it like on the way down. Like he caught it. I remember seeing that. Yeah.
He was
that was a crazy catch.
Grabbing his nameplate. Yeah. But once again, call not going towards the Browns. Moving on, Houston Texans on the road in Chicago against the Bears. I got the Texans pulling this one off, even though Bears home game. Hopefully it's better weather. But either way, I mean, you look at it, these teams are kind of almost built similarly. Justin Fields obviously more mobile than Davis Mills. But I want to see the Texans try to get that run game involved. I think they come in and kind of upset the Bears. I mean, I kind of think they're both at the same level of team-wise. But I think you'll have a couple big plays from Justin Fields early. But I think the Texans just stick with it. And Davis Mills, probably one of the most composed young QBs there is. I think he gets a little statement win on his name, even though it is against the Bears. But on the road, trying to win a game. Texans, what's the record?
I think the Texans are 0-1-1, right?
Yeah.
Because they just lost to the Broncos and they tied with the Colts.
Tied with the Colts. So I think they get their first win of the year on the road in Chicago.
Yeah, I picked the Texans as well, but I think I'm gonna spice it up. I'm gonna rock with the Bears. Sitting here thinking about it, they're at home, and like you said you want the Texans to get the run game going.
Yeah, you feel that for the Bears and David Montgomery.
I feel like the Bears already have the run game going. Montgomery and Khalil Herbert they were running the ball all over the Packers last night. Not last night, but was it Sunday night? Although they were down the entire game, they were still running, and I kind of feel like the Packers are like, okay, if you want to run the ball, go ahead. But I think Justin Fields only has like some absurd, like only like 40 or 30 passes attempted this season. I think against the Packers, he only threw the ball 11 times. So I think against this Texans defense, I don't think they're going to force them. I don't think the Texans defense is good enough to force Justin Fields to throw the ball. And I think the Bears are going to be able to do what they want against this defense, which is just run the ball. And if they can get the run game going early and often and win that time of possession, I think the Bears do have a way they can kind of find victory in this game. So I picked the Titans, but just to
Texans.
or the Texans, but just to switch it up.
The Bears.
Yeah, I'm gonna rock with the Bears. I believe in JF1, man.
All right,
Fields has made some plays.
JF won 15 for 28 on the year with a 53.6 completion percentage, 191 yards, averaging 6.8 yards per attempt with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions.
Well, listen, this has kind of been the theme. If there's any team to get it going against, the Texans are also a very good team.
I will say game 1, 8 for 17 in that trash weather. So,
yeah.
But 7 for 11 for 70 yards is crazy in the modern day NFL. That's
the Bears.
Literally, yeah. You think Mike Dick is still playing on the team, but
oh man, the Broadway Bears.
Moving on.
I'm gonna rock with Chirac, man.
All right, you OTF, like Raiders on the road in Tennessee. You said you like the Titans coming up. You know I like Tannehill, but
I don't know why, but you do.
Because I told you that 1 year with Jay Ajayi, he was having the season of his career before he injured his knee.
That was his one Joe Burrow year. He's done.
No, he would have been poised for a playoff run that year. But the Raiders, they need to win. We were talking about, them possibly being last in the division. Devontae Adams, weapons like Waller and Renfro. Who on the Titans is going to match up against them? Derrick Henry looks like lost. He's getting hit like 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Like as soon as he touches the ball,
yeah.
Derrick Henry, he hasn't been able to get it going. That O-line is terrible.
Yeah, Taylor Lewan got injured again.
Yeah,
it's like the
too
third
busy
year in a
doing
row.
podcasts like us.
Yeah.
But yeah, too busy like talking about like what's the best fast food breakfast. Like I like your podcast, Taylor Lewan, but you get paid M's to play football. I just think the Raiders, they need that win on the road. The Titans is just really, they have like, I was watching ESPN earlier. I think they have like a 7% chance to win the division now after their 0-2 start. But that O-line is just so bad. Reminds me of when Tannehill was like first in Miami and he was the most sacked quarterback.
This reminds me, I did have another hot or not, but I just didn't put it in. So I'm going to just ask you right now real quick.
Go ahead.
Do you think we'll see Malik Willis start for the Titans within the next 2 weeks?
Oh, well, first off, Jimmy G is now the starting quarterback for the 49ers.
We'll get there.
But,
real quick.
Why not, bro? If the Titans, get 7 losses on the year, why not start Malik Willis and kind of see, where he's at and try to get him to progress? I mean, for next year, see what you got, see what you add in the offseason, kind of build around. You just give you a look. I mean, if, the Titans start winning games with Tannehill, obviously not. But it's not a hot take because right now the Titans – but would you even want to put him out there with how bad the O-line is? Like, I mean, I get he's
I think
mobile.
If they lose this week to the Raiders and they lose next week, I'm not sure who they play, but, I mean, I'm sure there's a chance they're able to lose. Then I will put him out there just to see what he can do.
Tannehill's not a stationary quarterback. Neither is Malik Willis. But
I think Malik, at this point, he's definitely a way better athlete than Tannehill.
Yeah, obviously, but it's not like Tannehill's only sitting in the pocket. But you got to get that O-line better for any quarterback to play.
Yeah, which is true, but I think you still just, you just throw him out there to see. Because, I mean,
he's not in the fire.
He's not going to be under pressure every single play. Like, there's going to be times he's going to have moments. He's going to have opportunities. And I think at this point, if the season's over, and even if he does get injured, like, the season's over. Like, you'll have all year, all off season. Hopefully it's nothing crazy. I'm not wishing injury on anybody.
I was going to say, it's not Madden. Like, you just come back next year. Oh, I'm 100%.
Well, he'll have time. It's not like they're going to be in the playoffs. Yeah, I don't think they will be. But, yeah, I think the Raiders, they finally just get a good matchup, like a game they should win. Although they should have beat the Cardinals last week. We know Kyler Murray and that Cardinals offense, even though we were both kind of lower on the Cardinals, that he's still a playmaker, and they usually start off strong. So we'll give that credit to the Cardinals. But I just think the Raiders are good. Like, this is a game they have to win. Like, kind of like the Bengals. Like, they can't start off 0-3 if they want any hope of making it to the playoffs, especially in this AFC, which has gotten a lot tougher over the years. With Renfro out, I think they'll be able to force feed Adams and Waller. And I just think that matchup is kind of the Titans got a pretty young secondary, other than Kevin Byard, who's like a really solid veteran safety. Other than that, I think both of their corners, Christian Fulton and I forgot the other one, but they're both within 2 years. They're young players, so I think the established playmakers on the Raiders, Devontae Adams, Darren Waller, you got Josh Jacobs, Amir Abdullah out the backfield. They'll be able to get it going, and Derek Carr, he's been pretty solid. I just think this is a game the Raiders should and will be able to win, and I think they'll win it pretty convincingly.
Roger McCreary.
Yeah, McCreary. I think he's a rookie from Auburn this year. I'm pretty sure.
He is a rookie at a second-round pick.
Yeah. So he was more of a man coverage, but he was kind of raw, but, still young. Secondary is young. They got athletes, but I just think going against a veteran offense like the Raiders, it might just be a little too much for them to handle.
Moving on, we got Detroit in Minnesota. Detroit played a good game last week. Aiden Hutchinson showed up, possibly rookie, defensive rookie of the year.
3 sacks in the first half.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift, once again one of the better backs in the league.
Bro, DeAndre Swift is averaging like 20 yards a carry. Against the Eagles, he only had like 12 rushing attempts. And last week
they give it to Jamal Williams.
Bro, last week he only had, I think they played the Jags, right? Or the Commanders. They played the Commanders. Yeah. He only had 10 rushing attempts. Like only 10 rushing attempts.
Dropping like 15 points.
And he's still running for like 100 yards a game, bro.
He had 5 attempts. He averaged 11 yards. So on the year, he's averaging 10 yards a carry.
That's fucking insane.
200 yards on 20 carries and only 1 touchdown.
That's nuts. Yeah, he's
averaging 12 yards a reception too.
So when he's touching the ball, it's
first down.
Basically every time he touches the ball, it's a first down. Is what he's averaging. He's averaging a first down every time he touches the ball, and he's not even touching it that much, that's like insane production.
They might as well just force feed him.
They might as well.
Yeah, I got the Vikings on my pick.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins not playing in primetime. That offense good.
That'll help.
You might see the Lions play a good game. Might be closer than what I'm kind of, thought at first when I made these picks. But I think the Vikings get it done. You're gonna see a lot of run game from them. You just see Jay Jets and Adam Thielen kind of get involved early because they need to bounce back after what they did against the Eagles. You're kind of going to see that Week 1 Vikings offense back.
Yeah, I think the Vikings will win this one. But like you said, I think it'll be a pretty close game. It'll be a competitive game. And, taking into the fact that these teams, they play each other twice a year, so they know how each team likes to play. But I just think the Vikings, this past week, and the Eagles, they just ran into a better team, a team that was tougher. And I think the Vikings are going to be one of the better teams in the NFC, and I think they should win pretty convincingly against the Lions. Although it could be a close game, I could see the Lions putting up a lot of points. Their offense with Jared Goff looks it's moving.
Brown,
it's functioning.
It's crazy.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, no one can guard him. And then outside of Darius Slay, we haven't seen anyone be able to guard Jay Jets in his career so far. So I think this game will be a lot of points, and like you mentioned, I think they're going to want to try to get Dalvin Cook more involved because over the first 2 games he kind of hasn't really been the Dalvin Cook of old. So I think they're going to make it a point to kind of get him going in the run game, and if not the run game, get him open in space and kind of get him going. And like you said, I think early and often Kirk needs to look for Thielen and Jefferson because for some reason in that first half, Irv Smith was getting like all of the targets, and he was dropping everything. I'm not sure why Kirk wasn't looking for Jay Jets.
Irv was open.
Yeah, but he just can't catch the ball. But I think the Vikings bounce back. I think their defense has a good game. Because, I mean, they had players on the defense that were making plays. It just came down to Hurts being better. So I think this will be a good competitive AFC North game, and I think the Vikings at home will be able to pull it off.
Only 26 carries for Dalvin Cook, by the way, 170 yards. But
On the season?
Yeah, even if they went to Madison, like they just need to get that ground game going.
Yeah,
like,
that's kind of the Vikings have
they got a pretty too good 1-2 punch, and Cook obviously premier back, and Madison's no scrub. I mean,
yeah,
you might as well get him involved. He's on a contract a year. They're probably not going to re-sign him because he probably knows he could get paid more money elsewhere.
Yeah, he could probably start.
But you might as well run him to the ground.
Might as well, yeah.
You got nothing to lose, but
no, I think the Vikings will be okay. They just had a tough game last week against the Eagles, but like you said, that Lions offense is they're gonna put up points, and I think the Vikings will be able to stay with them and put up points as well. So I think the Vikings will handle this one.
Moving on, Baltimore on the road in New England against the Patriots. I got the Ravens bouncing back after their second half, fourth quarter meltdown against the Dolphins. The Patriots, I picked them to win last week against the Steelers just because I think they're literally the same team, but probably just have a better game manager in Mac Jones than Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah.
But I got the Ravens. I kind of think, even though it's in Foxborough, they're kind of going to run away with this. Not going to say it's going to be like a 20-point blowout, but they'll definitely win by 2 scores, I'd say, on the road. I just think Lamar Jackson's just going to be running all over them and even dotting them up. Expect to see a little bit more of Mark Andrews. And kind of like that week 1 we saw with Rashad Bateman and Duvernay kind of getting down the sideline and Lamar airing it out. I don't even like this matchup for the Patriots right now.
No. Yeah, I think the Ravens will have a pretty good game. I think Lamar. Did you see those videos and clips of him like on the sideline, while they were giving up the lead? Like he was pissed. He was like on the sideline, like yelling at coaches, just like looking like just out of it, like hella depressed. Like I think Lamar has a big bounce back game where he just tries to put just like unreal numbers up against. Although it's not a good defense now, but I mean Bill Belichick over his career, he's just eliminated teams' best weapons and players. And I think Lamar kind of has a chip on his shoulder. You know, he was the best quarterback in that game on Sunday, and yet his team still lost. So I think Lamar's play isn't in question right now. I think they'll keep rolling. Those weapons they have on the outside, this is like the most we've ever seen Lamar throw to his receivers, which is pretty good. Get those outside guys involved in Bateman and Duvernay. And I just think, like you said, Mark Andrews will have a big game. I just don't think this Patriots offense can keep up with Lamar Jackson. And I think Lamar will have his way through the air and on the ground and kind of put up a statement game after losing what should have been a win for them last week.
Moving on, Philly on the road in Washington, divisional matchup. I was talking at work with some Eagles fans. I like the Eagles here. Kind of easy pick. No-brainer with the way they've played the Commanders. I think they have 1 win at this point. Yeah, they beat the Jags.
The Jaguars, they
barely.
beat the
Jags. This game should be a blowout win for the Eagles and should be one of your favorite type of wins, the blowout wins you want to see. It really should be where you see Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, and Kenneth Gainwell like in the second half get all the touches because they should be up.
Yeah. A little Carson Wentz revenge game. I'm down for it.
That's what I was telling them. I was like, yo, Carson Wentz revenge game. All jokes, obviously, but
I'm down for it. But after the performance we saw with the defense last night on Monday, I just think the Eagles are too good right now. Jalen Hurts is playing the best football of his career. All the weapons they're clicking. We're getting everyone involved. I just think the Eagles will be a little too much. They'll just overwhelm the Commanders. The Commanders are an okay team. Like we kind of mentioned, I think they'll be middle of the pack somewhere. But I just think right now the Eagles are a tier ahead of them. And like you said, hopefully we have someone like Tyler Lockett on our sideline giving out Carson Wentz's calls and, showing what he's doing.
Wentz changed his hand signal. Bro, he was literally like tapping his wrist, and Lockett was like, "It's a go, it's a go." He ran right up the sideline go route.
Yeah, that's crazy. that's wild.
I literally just watched it. It was like they had him mic'd up too.
I think maybe the first quarter into the second quarter it'll be competitive just because NFC division rival, they know how each other plays, so it'll be somewhat of a close game, but I think hopefully Slay will play because he got injured on that not the interception but the play right before that where he caught the pick, where he dropped the pick against JJS in the end zone. Looks like he got banged up and like landed on his hip or leg wrong, so hopefully he'll be all right. But I mean, either way, if he is going to miss time, this is the game you will want to rest him against the Commanders. Yeah,
and if you blow it,
I don't think we'll miss him that much. I think, kind of like you said, it'll just. I think the Eagles should be.
You still got Bradbury. He could be a corner one.
Yeah, Bradbury and Maddox in the slot. We'll be all right.
Shout out Maddox, man. That boy Avonte Maddox and AC.
Shout out to Avonte, man. Yeah, I think the Eagles go down into Washington, handle business like they pretty much always do in Washington, and we are undefeated at 3-0.
All right, moving on. New Orleans divisional matchup. Saints on the road against the Panthers in Carolina. Baker Mayfield 0-3. I got the Saints.
I'm down with it.
Saints winning this one. Jameis Winston continues to be one of the funniest people that have ever stepped in between the lines in the NFL.
Bro, just get Jameis like in front of a mic and it's gonna be like a clip, bro. He's gonna say something. It's gonna be something like he's insane.
Yeah, Jameis. After he's done, man, I really want to see him as like a broadcast analyst. It would be hilarious. But I think the Saints, they kind of played that close game with the Falcons in Week 1 where they kind of should have had a better game. They got to play a better complete game. Obviously, last week against the Bucs, Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Evans one time a year, always Mike Evans or Marshawn Lattimore gets in the head of Mike Evans, and Mike Evans goes and wants to blindside Marshawn Lattimore. But that's what good corners do. They do a lot of talking. They get in the heads of receivers. Yeah. Lattimore's still doing it, even though he's not the best, number one cover corner. But he's still up there in terms of...
Yeah, he's up there. He's elite.
Yeah, he's still up there in terms of how good he is. But when you get in heads of receivers like that, it's pretty dangerous. So I know DJ Moore not much of a hothead as Mike Evans, but...
Better not fuck with Robbie.
Yeah, Robbie. I don't know. Turn that Kodak on if that happens.
Come on, man. That South Florida gonna come out, man. Don't play with him. That Broward shit, man.
Bro, you're not. Bro, stop repping Broward, bro. You're not even from.
I'm repping South Florida, bro. Come on.
All right.
Robbie fuck with Palm Beach. I mean,
the Saints. I like to see them come away with this win. This divisional matchup might be close, especially with the Panthers at home. I would like to see Baker Mayfield get a win just for his name. I mean, I don't hate the guy, but I don't think he's a good quarterback. But 0-3 for them, and Saints get a win.
Yeah, you pretty much covered everything here. I think the Saints I think they pull it off. Jameis, I think he's back another week. It'll have time to heal, although he said everything always hurts. I think he'll be back more healthy. Another week under Mike Thomas's belt. He'll be more productive, and I think Jameis will connect with Olave on one of those deep shots. I saw they were targeting him. They were trying to get him the ball deep, just couldn't really connect on all of them. So I think that connection gets better, and like you said, I think that defense for the Saints, arguably one of the best in the league. I think they'll have Baker under control, and I think the Saints should handle their business.
One more thing. I guess not really a headline, but Jarvis' first time playing against Baker since departing out of Cleveland or departing away from Baker. Has been his quarterback since 2018. So it should be interesting just to see how those two guys react. moving on, Jags on the road in LA, SoFi Stadium against the Chargers. This is as close as you should get to a mop of a game right here. Well, actually, I take that back because Justin Herbert's rib is fractured.
Yeah, but I think he's still
he's still gonna play.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be a little hobbly. Hopefully, he doesn't take too many hits. But impressive showing from the Jags last week, shutting out the Colts at home. Duval was out there going wild.
0 points is crazy.
Yeah, they didn't even kick a field goal
from a league MVP.
But they could have kicked a couple of field goals at the end. But obviously,
what's the point, bro?
Exactly. But I don't know. This game should be handled by the Chargers. If they want to show that they're premier team, you have to handle bad teams and subpar teams.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I think it'll be a convincing win for the Chargers. I mean, the Jaguars, like you said, I'm a little high on them, but I'm also a realist, and I understand. I think they'll put up some points against this Chargers defense. I can see them getting in the end zone 2 to 3 times, but
they'll score.
Yeah, I'm high on that Jags offense. I think they can move the ball with the best of them, and I think they'll be competitive for.
Christian Kirk was looking good.
He was in that run game.
They paid
James
him.
Robinson, ETN, getting it done on the ground. So I think the Jags they're moving in the right direction. They'll be able to keep up with certain teams, but I just think it'll be a matter of time until the Chargers run away with this. I mean, that defense, Mack and Bosa looking like Mack and Bosa coming off both edges, which is crazy. Durham, arguably the best safety in the league. J.C. Jackson, although he looked a little shaky against the Chiefs and gave up that 1 touchdown.
First week back.
Yeah, it was his first week back, so he gets another healthy week in the system. And Asante Samuel is playing really good football right now on the outside.
Yeah, Asante looks good.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are one of the most complete teams in the NFL, and they just kind of, had to play the Chiefs week 2, which is going to be tough, but they were competitive. And I also think one thing to watch out on is those ribs of Justin Herbert and how well he's able to play, because that last game, that throw he made after he got hurt was insane. Like, it was 3rd and 1. I think he rolled out. He tried to check it down, but you could just see, like, he winced. He's like, I can't get it off. He just throws it in the dirt. And then on 4th and 1, he throws a fucking laser on a rope for like 40 yards on the money and gets them on the goal line. So
it's just like certain movements when you have that type of injury, like it's gonna just pop up, and he's obviously gonna be scared to take a hit. Like he's gonna be flinching.
I think he might be on his Rodgers shit before the game. You feel me? Pop a couple perks, feel shit, go out there and just sling the rock against a subpar Jags team.
Yeah, moving on. The Rams in Arizona against the Cardinals here. I got the Rams. I know you didn't like how the Rams played last week. Jalen Ramsey, once again, I don't know why he was talking his shit. That
was a crazy pick he caught, though.
It was a crazy pick.
Yeah, it was
no doubt. But, I mean, who'd they play? They played the Falcons.
Yeah,
Marcus Mariota. But I don't know. I like the way Stafford finally threw that your boy Allen Robinson. That you sent that message. I guess Stafford heard it.
Stafford heard.
He threw that jump ball to Allen Robinson.
He should have had 2 touchdowns, but on some weird shit, he got called back.
But once again, I think that Cardinals game. I don't think Kyler Murray is gonna make. He has to make those plays to win. Like when he was just running around for 20 seconds and scoring touchdowns. I don't think it's going to happen. I just think the Rams, obviously, defense isn't the best, but they're still good defense, above average. You got Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
I see the Rams pulling this one out. Going to be a tough, not a shootout, but it's going to be a close game, no doubt.
Yeah, I could easily see the Rams winning, but I think right now the Cardinals are kind of in the same place as the Dolphins, where they're just coming off a really, really big win, and they got momentum swinging with them. Now, I can also see the Dolphins and the Cardinals coming off a super big win, kind of just coming out flat because they gave their all in the last game. But I think both teams, with just the way they won and the plays that were made, especially for the Cardinals with Kyler Murray. And I think the biggest part for this Cardinals game was, Kyler Murray got them down. Kyler Murray scored. He had the crazy run, the two-point conversion, all that. He got them to overtime, but it was the Cardinals' defense that stepped up and won them this game in overtime. So I think that's going to be really big going into this game. They're also at home, and I just don't think the Rams right now are as a complete of a team as everyone thinks they are. Stafford is just a turnover machine. I think he's thrown
he's always
he throws 2 picks every game. He's just gonna turn the ball over once or twice because he only throws it to one person, so you know where he's going. And if this Cardinals defense can continue to make plays like they did last week, maybe just one big play to kind of swing the game and give him momentum, I think Kyler Murray can be good enough at home to make plays with his legs and his arm through the air. Hit Hollywood, Zach Ertz, Eagles legend. He's been doing this thing. And George, that receiver, is kind of coming out of nowhere. He's been playing really good. So I think they have some weapons. I think Kyler Murray does his best, gets them involved, and I think at home the Cardinals get it done.
So moving on, Atlanta in Seattle, the Falcons against the Seahawks. I had the Falcons. I just made the change while I was sitting here thinking about it. Yeah, I moved over to the Seahawks. The way the 12th man showed up in that week 1, even I wanted to pick an upset victory. Maybe Kyle Pitts gets, going. But
he needs to.
He needs to, no doubt. But let's be real. Playing in Seattle is no easy task. Mariota, I guess he's a veteran now at this point, but I really wanted the Falcons to pull off an upset and maybe get, Cordero Patterson going or something, but it's too far-fetched on the road, I think, for me. So I'm rocking with Geno Smith, the Seahawks, and maybe Rashad Penny get more than 10 yards this week.
Well, not with Kenneth Walker coming back healthy. I don't think.
Oh, yeah, he's coming back?
Well, he was back last week. That's why he only got 10 yards. Yeah, kind of just going along with everything you said. Honestly, right now, the Falcons might be the worst team in football. They might be. It's close. The offense just it's question marks, bro.
They were so close to winning week 1.
How could you not get Kyle Pitts, who's arguably the best athlete at the tight end position? It's either him or Darren Waller. But outside of those two guys, there's literally they're matchup nightmares. And they don't even line up Kyle Pitts as a tight end. They literally put him out fucking wide as a receiver, and he's still not getting targets. But Drake London, the rookie, is getting all the looks, which I'm high on Drake London. I think he'll be nice. Team light skin, you feel me? I think he'll put up numbers. But I just think at this point you gotta get, well, he's not a veteran, it's his second year, but the established player who can produce, you gotta get him involved.
1,000-yard receiver last year.
But going on with what you said, I think the Seahawks playing at home, the 12th man was rocking. Although I don't think it'll be as crazy as it was for Russ's home return.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be enough, and Geno Smith and that Seahawks offense if they can do enough to beat the Broncos, I think they can definitely do enough to beat this Falcons team.
You think he's gonna be picking them apart, and Coach Jason Brown's gonna be like Geno Smith is picking apart this Falcons defense that 1 week?
Listen, they wrote him off and he ain't right back, man.
He was in New York for a long time.
He was riding a lot.
Pretty bad. Moving on, Green Bay on the road in Tampa. Here's where we make a split in picks. I got the Bucks at home. No Mike Evans suspended.
Although he appealed it, I don't know if he'll win or not.
It's Goodell's league. Let's be honest. Brady, I said he hit the wall, but at home in Tampa, just that Florida weather. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers, Perkio Rodgers is ready for it. I think the Bucks kind of, I don't even know if it's an upset at this point considering they're the home team, but they're down so many weapons. I'd like to see the run game get going for the Bucks in this one. I just think it's going to be.
The Bears were able to run against them last week too.
Yeah, exactly, against the Pack.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a close game. If the Packers win it, I wouldn't be surprised. But I think the Bucks at home, if they want to be that juggernaut like you said, they have to win these games at home and get a statement win.
Well, I think they're playing against another juggernaut in the NFC and the Packers.
That's why it could go either way.
It could, yeah. I'm going to rock with the Packers here. Like we said, you kind of touched on Brady hitting that wall. And Brady hitting a wall right now is not – he's still a top 10 quarterback in the league. Like, he's still elite. I just don't think he'll be – like
number
on a
two, like
trajectory like he was last year, where he threw for like
crazy
5,000 yards, the most yards and touchdowns in the league. With that being said, you kind of touched on those weapons being down for the Bucks. Mike Evans most likely going to be out with the suspension. Godwin still banged up, didn't play last week from that ACL, and Julio, he did his Julio thing, played one good game, somehow tweaked something. If I had to bet money, it was his hamstring. Yeah, I'm more than likely sure it's his hamstring, and he's out. So he's going to be working with that hamstring. And Russell Gage is going to be their number one healthy receiver going into this game. I just think
they signed Cole Beasley.
I'm sure he won't make a difference. But, I mean, Cole Beasley was decent for the Bills. But I think that Packers defense, who came off a good game last week against the Bears, although it was the Bears and Jalen Hurts, and this is a whole different story with Tom Brady being the greatest quarterback of all time. I do think the fact that they're down those weapons, I think that'll be the big key of this game. The Packers defense taking advantage of Brady not being able to have anyone to really go to in the past game, and I think we see those Packers weapons on the offensive side of the ball get going more, especially Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs. We want to see those guys get involved more, and I think that will happen, and also that run game. Even though the Bucs are known for having a really good run defense, I mean, they have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, two of the arguably the best in the league at their position, and I think the Packers will just be too much to handle for the Bucs at home.
Julio Jones is a knee injury, not a hamstring.
Same shit, bro.
But don't sleep. You talked about the weapons on the Bucks. UCF legend Brashad Perriman.
Brashad Perriman is gonna do nothing.
Yeah, I like to see.
Although something to watch out for that game, I think they're saying, bro, we might be getting a tropical storm or a hurricane coming.
Yeah, I think they were saying
in the
like
Gulf,
the weather.
And they're saying it's going up like the west coast of the Panhandle of Florida. Yeah. So that should really might.
You know, Aaron Rodgers not ready for that.
He's not, but I don't know. They might delay the game if it becomes like a big problem, or they might play it somewhere else. Yeah,
they did that
I think with the Saints,
the Week 1 matchup, right? Yeah. Moving on, Niners on the road in Denver against the Broncos. Broncos country, they lost. I got Jimmy G.
Broncos country, they lost. That's funny.
Jimmy G, he's gonna come out. He had something to prove last week when Trey Lance went down. Obviously, Trey Lance wishing him a speedy recovery. But Jimmy G, I don't know. Maybe it was just like that one game he always has, and everyone's like, oh, we should pay him all this money. That's why he got that contract. But you're playing against the Broncos. Really haven't done too much this year. Week 1 was atrocious. Week 2, you played a subpar team in the Texans. The Niners, the weather in Week 1 sucked.
It was kind of bad in Week 2 as well. It was raining.
Yeah, but I mean, that Week 1 was just it was unplayable. I don't know how they played. I could see the Broncos winning this, but I like Jimmy G, Deebo Samuel. Brandon Ayuk was getting targeted last week. He was looking good. Jeff Wilson Jr., get him some touches, but I just don't see the Broncos. Like, Judy's a question mark right now.
Yeah, him and KJ Hamler. KJ Hamler missed last week.
They just if the Broncos don't get the ground game going, it's just not going to be a good year for them at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, and I really agree with what you were just saying there. I mean, we all saw the memes of, when Trey Lance got hurt, the Jimmy G coming in, like him smiling as Trey Lance is getting carted off the field.
They were showing like Trey Lance at the strip club or whatever.
Yeah, lap dance Lance. Yeah, I just think Jimmy, although this situation just kind of sucks for Trey Lance, bro. It's tough because you can say that the 49ers, even the players in the locker room, they wanted Jimmy G to be the quarterback this whole way. And now they finally get what they want, but at the expense of Trey Lance's broken ankle. And with Trey Lance, it was more of the potential or upside play,
Yeah.
And with Jimmy G, you know what this team is. They're a playoff team. They're going to make the playoffs. They have the talent. And I just think at this point, I was watching The Hurt. I think Nick Wright made a really good point when talking to Colin, and Colin was like, well, you know why he's out on Trey Lance. That's a whole nother story. But
I was going to say, bro, you went from really high to really low for some reason.
Shout out Liv, Betty. But Nick Wright, he kind of made he kind of made the comparison of saying if you're making a trip across the country, he was like, if I give you one car and I tell you it's gonna get you across the country, but it's guaranteed to stop you halfway, or I give you another car where it might stop halfway, or it could possibly take you all the way. It's like, which car are you gonna take? And it's the one that could possibly get you all the way. And I think that was a really
stop
good
in the beginning, yeah.
But, I mean, there's the chance of it getting there. But with Jimmy G, there's no chance. And I think that was a really good comparison of the situation of the two going on. Whereas with Trey Lance, you didn't really know what his potential was. He could have been, that player to put you over the hump in the playoffs. But, I mean, at this point, he's out of the question for this year at least. And with Jimmy G coming in, we saw what that 49ers offense did last year. Debo got hella touches. The run game was strong, and Jimmy G is going to do what Jimmy G does. Find the open players, be accurate, not really stretch the ball down the field, but be able to get the ball in the hands of those playmakers in that West Coast Kyle Shanahan offense. So I think the 49ers, I think they'll be better in the regular season and maybe even in the postseason. It just sucks that they don't get to see the potential that they possibly had in Trey Lance this year.
Yeah, no doubt. Sunday night game. I really don't know how you picked this team to win, considering, and I picked the other team, considering our preseason predictions, but things change, rearrange, and so do I.
All right, Cole.
Cowboys on the road in New York against the Giants. I got the G-Men. Cooper Rush, he played good. Last week, the Cowboys pulled off a win somehow against the Bengals. We both picked the Bengals. The Giants are 2-0. I don't think anyone in 2022 is saying that the Giants would be 2-0, but here we are, week 3. Giants 2-0, Sunday night. Cowboys, once again, Cooper Rush against Danny Dimes. Expect Daniel Jones. Isn't it always a primetime game where he just runs and gets tripped by the grass? But Giants at home. I just don't see the Cowboys winning it on the road. I think it's going to be a close game, a gritty game. No more than like 21 points scored for each team individually. But I got the Giants. I think Saquon's going to have a pretty good, solid game. And I just think that the Giants pull it off at home. They have to. They're 2-0. I mean, they can't beat the Cowboys as a divisional matchup. But you're playing without their quarterback. They pay hundreds of millions. You got to win this game.
Yeah, I think week 3. Now, this is also like a disclaimer. I could give two fucks about who wins this game. They're not better than the Eagles, so I don't care. But I just think the Cowboys they're playing with the momentum. They got a good one against the Bengals. I think the key to this game will be that Cowboys defense. The Giants in week 1, they played the Titans, who just got washed by the Bills and lost to the Giants offense. And then week 2, who did the Giants play? Who did the Giants just play? They played
They played the Panthers.
They beat the Panthers. No one's writing home about.
They're winning close games.
Nobody's writing home against the Panthers defense. I think this Cowboys defense, with it being prime time, everyone will be able to see Daniel Jones's flaws and the fact that he just isn't accurate and doesn't hit open receivers. And I think they'll also shine a light on Micah Parsons, and he's been going crazy this year. He's literally just been like winning drives and downs on him like by himself. So I think Micah Parsons has a really good game against this offensive line, although the Giants online has been decent. Andrew Thomas has been one of the best left tackles in football. So
he was supposed to be a bust.
Yeah, he got off to a really rough start at the beginning of his career, but the second end of his rookie season, I think he showed it around, turned promise. And last year he played really good football. So in his third season, I believe this year, he's getting off to a really good start. They got Evan Neal on the other side, so this Giants online isn't completely horrible.
While you're talking about Andrew Thomas, the same draft class, the Browns, Jedrick Wills. Andrew Thomas was worse than Jedrick Wills at the start of his career, and now Jedrick Wills looks like Andrew Thomas at the start of his career because Wills.
Yeah, he started off really strong. He started off super strong, didn't he?
Yeah, now he's like one of the worst graded tackles.
That's tough. But I think that'll be a really, really good battle. Micah Parsons versus Thomas over there on the line. And then I think Diggs coming off a big game against Jamar last week. Jamar was like he's either on or off, and then Diggs ended up having a pretty decent game guarding him. So I mean, none of the receivers on this Giants team are as good as nowhere near Jamar Chase. Kenny Golladay is the highest paid receiver in the league and plays 2 snaps. Kadarius Toney, one of the most explosive weapons in the league with the ball in his hand, just doesn't get touches. I mean, you have 31-year-old Sterling Shepard coming off Achilles injury, leading the team in targets. I just really don't understand and I was higher on Dable, and you kind of weren't really believing in it. And I mean, he's winning them games, but I just really don't understand what that offense is doing. Now they're getting Saquon the ball, which is good, but I just think they're not getting the ball in the hands of their playmakers and the people they need to get the ball to. And I think a defense with the Cowboys being the toughest one they face so far in prime time, it'll be a big game. I think Cooper Rush does what he needs to do. Did you see Michael Irving said he turned into Tom Brady on that last drive?
Bro, that was a throw take. But while that topic's on, Deion Sanders also did say it would be like Tua MVP. He was on the Barstool podcast with Dave Portnoy. Yeah. And Deion predicted it. Michael Irvin, I thought that was a little out of pocket, but that just reminded me because when Deion said it, everyone was calling him out of pocket. But Cooper Rush did look good, bro. I cannot lie, especially in that, bro. But Tom Brady's is a wild comparison.
Back on that stuff again, man.
Michael Irvin, funny, bro.
But yeah, I think Cooper Rush plays, well enough, good game manager football, and this Cowboys defense can end up making a lot of plays and get them in plus territory to where Cooper Rush just has to get the ball out to his weapons and CeeDee Lamb and I think they get those guys in the backfield a lot of touches too. Tony Pollard looked really good. He broke off a nice run against the Bengals last week, and Zeke, who was I think he's averaging a good amount of yards per carry this year,
I don't
4
get
or
it.
5.
You might as well feed Zeke and Tony Pollard. Those two guys are also another really good running back tandem.
Dalton Schultz I think he's out this week.
Is he?
Yeah, I think he got a knee tissue injury or something like that. But I know without Dak it really hurts, and the Giants have been just finding ways to win games. But I just think this Cowboys defense might be a little too much for Danny Dimes in the prime time.
Zeke, 4.2 yards a carry, league average.
4 point. That's good. That's, that's serviceable solid, numbers. Yeah.
25 attempts, 105 yards. They really haven't gotten him any. He has 2 receptions for -7 yards.
Tough.
Yeah, but Tony Pollard mainly the pass catching back when it comes to the Cowboys offense. Moving on, Monday Night Football. I did say Jags-Chargers might be the biggest mop, but I forgot about this game. The back end, the Chiefs on the road in Indianapolis against the Colts, who just got shut out by the Jags. I got the Chiefs I don't need to do any talking.
Yeah, and what's sad about this is when the NFL was making the schedule, like this was supposed to be a good game. Like they figured this would be, a somewhat competitive game, but this honestly could be one of the worst primetime games of like all time, just based on how these two teams are playing right now. And like you said, man, Chiefs are hot, better coach, better quarterback, better team overall. These are just, like you said, good teams got to win games against the bad teams, and I think this is a game the Chiefs win. They roll the Colts. I think the score might be closer than what we think, just because the Chiefs
not
go
be 30 points, but
the Chiefs go up so much early. Yeah, the Chiefs are gonna go up by like 21 or 28.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire with the ball in their hands,
and then I don't think the Colts get shut out again. Like I can see them.
If Michael Pittman plays, that's not happening.
Which he should.
In week 1, he was snapping.
Yeah, he was getting hella targeted, but the Chiefs will win. Colts aren't good right now.
No doubt. That wraps up our week 3 picks right now, man. One ahead on the leaderboards here in week 2. You were talking your shit after week 1.
I'm not worried, bro.
I gotta talk my shit.
Yeah, you just copied all my picks this week. Just to kind of make it.
I didn't. I literally picked the Falcons to be different, and then I was like, "That's just a dumb pick, bro."
No, be different, bro. Be different. They could win,
bro. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, you want to see me feel? Not really, but I don't believe in Mariota. So, like, come on, I'm picking the home team.
I like the Falcons. You like the Falcons' weapons better than the Seahawks?
They got, like, the same weapons. The Seahawks got DK.
Lockett.
Yeah, and they got Kyle Pitts. Yeah, Drake London. He hasn't really proved anything yet, but...
Kyle Pitts, who they don't throw to.
Exactly. That's why I'm taking the Seahawks. Like, I don't know. You're literally giving me reasons not to pick the Falcons, and you want me to pick them. But that wraps up ours. Let's talk about baseball just really quick, because your Dodgers, first team to hit the 100 win mark maybe a week and a half ago, clinched the playoffs, I believe, 5-6 days ago, maybe a week.
Listen, there's not really much to keep up with now, man, until October starts.
See, bro.
I mean, the Dodgers,
fake ass fan.
100 wins. We're coasting, bro. We got it clinched. You feel me? NL West was, I think that division, it was super tough last year. It kind of went down this year with the Giants not being as good, and then we all know what happened with Tatis. But, I mean, the Dodgers, they're just playing really, really, really good team baseball right now. Everyone's got the bats going at the right time. And then Mookie Betts is playing, like, out of his mind right now. He's having his best hitting season of his career. And I just think, honestly, like it always does with the Dodgers, bro, it'll just come down to pitching. Like, one, can our pitchers stay healthy? Dustin May coming back off of Tommy John's, I believe. He's been looking really good. I think either the last game or the game before that against the Diamondbacks, I believe he pitched a no-hitter through like 4 or 5 innings or something like that. So it's good to see he has good command of the ball. But like you said, bro, until the playoffs start, like it's not really to touch on right now.
Yeah, Kershaw threw last night, 6 innings, 10 Ks.
Yeah.
Classic Kershaw stat line. They won today.
And then we got to hit the ball in the playoffs, too, because we always have, like, 100 wins,
Trey
105
Turner,
wins.
man. Shout out 561 Park Vista legend.
Trey's solid.
And the Dodgers won today again, 6-5 against the D-backs.
Not surprising.
Trey Turner, 3 for 1. Justin Turner had 3 hits.
Okay, JT.
Yeah. And my team right now, the youngest team in baseball, kind of shocking the world. No one thought, I mean, they were supposed to be bottom of the barrel in the AL Central. I almost said ALC, bro. But the AL Central, the Cleveland Guardians, man, they got the youngest team. If they make the playoffs, I saw some weird stat. They'd be like the youngest team with plate appearance, batters face, some weird ass shit. You know, baseball throwing out some random stats. Right now,
that's what baseball is, bro. Just stats, bro.
Bro, I mean,
analytics.
It's 162 games of pastime baseball, but right now up 1-0 on the White Sox, top of the second. I think they got a 4-game lead on them. They gotta figure out a way to win that AL Central because no one thought they'd be there. They just gotta find a way to hit the ball, bro. They can't hit for anything. some days. Like, the pitching's always going to be solid. Just shout out Tristan McKenzie, another 5'6" legend.
Where do you go to school?
Royal Palm.
Royal Palm?
Yeah, I believe it was Royal Palm. But he's snapping. Bieber's looking good. Jose Ramirez is carrying the team hitting, but Ahmed Rosario snapping. Oscar Gonzalez is on the come up. That team's really young, and for Cleveland, it's always a young team, bro. Just because they're a small market team, can never pay anybody. I mean, at the end of the day, this is what they always do, bro. They find a way to win with teams, and arguably one of the best 1-2 punches between James Karinchak and one of the best closers in Emmanuel Clase. So if they find a way to get to the playoffs, they can win some close games. But I just want to see Cleveland baseball back in the playoffs. It's been depressing since, 2016, 2017 against the Cubs. I mean, just looking for Cleveland to get live again when it comes to baseball. And I think it's their year, bro. So we're going to see how it shakes up. I mean, end of the season.
We'll talk more baseball as the playoffs go on.
Probably next week. I think the regular season has like a week and a half left, so we're coming right down to it.
Yep.
But man, that's gonna conclude our episode 4, the Goal2Go podcast, man. Let us know right now who you think's gonna win the season picks, cause it's neck and neck right now.
It's too early to tell, bro.
Too early to tell for sure. Only in week 3 of the NFL season, but. Excited
Although
for that.
both weeks, neither one of us have gone negative.
Exactly. We're both doing solid, bro. Like, if you really
good picks
wanted to lock some, money on, and you did straight bets all around, you're winning money every time.
Yep.
But except for you this week, you're breaking even, which still you walking out.
Damn, I'd rather break even than lose.
Obviously. And by the way, when I said smash that Chiefs over, I saw a stat today that the under is hitting 64% of the time right now in the NFL. So smash the unders in week 3. Smash the under. The 64% right now are hitting.
Yeah. Vegas tripping.
And also the underdogs, I think like 59% are winning when it comes to bets. But
there's been some wild games.
Yeah, I'm excited for that Thursday night matchup.
I'm not.
Gonna have to stay up late for that one. But yeah, episode 4, man. Appreciate y'all. Y'all let us know. Like, comment, subscribe. Apple Music Podcast. Go ahead and click that share button. It's been episode 4. We appreciate y'all.
Appreciate it.